So I just use this as my first copy to the perfect equilibrium. Okay, first, you know that in this game, player A has no strategy either to choose in or out. Okay, so first, if you write down the tree, so A has no strategy. Okay, so the strategy available to A is to play in or out. Now, if A chooses out, the game ends, each player gets 5 times. A chooses in, and player B can decide whether to roll a dice or not to roll a dice. So if A chooses in, so it's up to B to decide on what. To roll a dice or to move it. So this is a decision. He has to decide on one. Roll or don't roll. So if A chooses in and B chooses don't roll. When B chooses don't roll, A will get 0, B will get 14. However, if A chooses in and B chooses roll, B will get 10, and the payoff of A is decided by chance. Probability 5, 6, A get 12, probability 1, 6, A get 0. Because from here what happened? The payoff is determined by chance. By chance means what? By chance means in English is probability. B will get 10, the payoff will be decided by chance. Okay, so the only thing I know is B will get 10, A will get what? Probability 5, 6, A get 12, and probability 1, 6, therefore A get 3. Okay, so we are set up on the tree. So the answer depends on what the question asks you to solve. If they ask you to find the pure strategy mesh equilibrium, draw a table, right? So your question asks you to find the perfect equilibrium in this game. Now, how do you find the equilibrium in this game? Okay, so to find perfect equilibrium, you solve the tree. Right, so you solve the tree very simple. Start here. Okay, what am I supposed to find? You see a ball in 2 strokes, straight away find one. That's expected. C upon into slope. Straight away find expected what? Value. So player A, player A is the first player, is payoff is the first one. So 5/6 of the time you get this 12, 1/6 you get 0. What's his expected payoff? 5/6 times 12 plus 1/6 times 0. So therefore A payoff will be 10. B get how much? 5/6 times 10 plus 1/6 times 10. B will get this. Alright. Okay. Next. B will play roll or don't roll? If B will play don't roll, what will B get? If B play don't roll, B will get 0. If you play roll, you get 10. True or false? B payoff is which one? This one. So if you play don't roll, you get this. If you play roll, you get 10. You think you like 14 or 10? I think you like 14. So B will play this. Therefore, because you play this, the payoff at this point is based on this or this. Which one? You choose here, so the payoff is. Now, so if you are A, you like in or out? You think A like to play in or play out? If you play in, you get 0. If you play out, you get what? 5, right? I think he like 5. That means therefore, the answer to the question is after you draw the game trees, find the sub-game perfect equilibrium. So the sub-game perfect equilibrium is what? Because it doesn't make sense for someone to roll a die. So B is smart. Because if you roll a die, if you're not lucky, you die. Right. The best is to roll a die. And forever you don't die. Okay, any question? Okay, so I'll move on to, there's another question on the game theory. Give me the pure strategy dash equilibrium. Your zoning question one. What's the pure strategy dash equilibrium for question one? Zone A question one. How to find the pure strategy next week? First, how many players are there? Now, in this game, you have how many players? N players. So, N players simultaneously decide whether to enter the market or stay out of the market. So the market demand is D. Let's say the market demand is 10. The quantity demanded is 10. Now, if D or fewer players enter the market, each entrance will get 1. If more than D players enter the market, the entrance will get 0. So therefore the entrance has 2 decisions. Entrance can decide to enter or don't enter. So can decide to enter or don't enter. Don't enter, the payoff is how much? 0.5. Don't enter, the payoff is 0.5. If you enter, the payoff depends on what? How many players entering? If D or fewer players enter, each entrance will get 1. If more than D players enter, each entrance gets 0. Okay, how to find the first strategy Nash equilibrium? So this quantity demanded, the market demand. Okay, so what's the pure strategy then? In this case, there are n players. So, what is a pure strategy Nash equilibrium? Pure strategy Nash equilibrium is the final outcome. So equilibrium in English is called final outcome. So what is the final outcome? How many entrants will enter? The final outcome in this game is how many players will enter? Or no players enter? Can the entrance be less than D? Can the number of entrants be less than D? Less than D, can that be the final outcome? The number of entrants, can it be lower than D? How many firms enter? Can it be less than D player? Market demand is D, 10. So if the number of firms entering is less than D, every player get 1. If it's greater than D, so if the market demand is 10, if there are 20 players entering one, of course, all get 0. So can the equilibrium number of players entering be more than D? Impossible. It cannot be the final outcome because if more entrants, if the number of entrants entering the market is greater than the market demand, everybody gets 0. So if it's more than D, it's not possible. Why? Because if it's more than D, what will the entrants do? They will rather play what strategy? They will enter. Because my payoff will become half. Right or not? So as long as the entrance is greater than D, that cannot be the final outcome. Because the number of entrants cannot be greater than D. If it's greater than D, the entrance will rather change strategy from entering to what? To enter. And so the payoff can increase from 0 to half. Now, can the number of entrants be less than D? Impossible. Why? Because if it's less than D, what will the entrance do? A new entrance will enter, right? Because if you don't enter, you get how much? If you don't enter, you get half. If you enter, you get how much? 1. So that means the equilibrium condition is that the number of entrants cannot be less than D also. Because if the number of people entering is less than D, then I think it cannot be the final outcome, because those people who did not enter will choose to enter. Because if you don't enter, you get half. By entering, your payoff rise to 1, right? Okay, which means the final outcome should be how many players entering? How many players entering? D and D. Right? D players will enter. That's the final outcome. If it's less than D, more players will come in. Because the payoff can rise from half to 1. Now, if it's greater than D, impossible. Why? Because some player will rather switch strategy to enter, right? And the payoff can increase from 0 to half. Once it's at D, that's it. That should be the final outcome, right? So therefore, the pure strategy next equilibrium is 1. So D players will enter the market. So the number of entrants entering is D. More than D is impossible. Less than D is also not possible. Because it cannot be the final outcome. Exactly D player enters. Okay, I think I'm going to move on to bargaining. In the case of bargaining, there are 2 types of game. So you have a finite period game and a finite period game. So what's the difference? The difference between these two is that in a finite period game, there's an end to the game. Right? In a finite period game, the game will go on forever. Right. For instance, here we have a 3 offer game. Player 1 offer X to player 2. So you are bargaining over a pie of 1. Now, if player 1 offer X to player 2, if player 2 accepts, player 2 accept, 2 will get X, player 1 will get what? The residual, 100 minus X. Okay. Now, however, if the exam question didn't mention this, if the exam question used the word keep, how will the answer change? Because instead of this, player 1 how will the answer change? I think it depends on what you're doing. Player 1 wants to offer X, or player 1 wish to give X. If the question is stated in this form, player 1 wish to give X, right? So how will the answer change? Okay, here very simple. Look at here for a while. If he wants to give X, so player 2 accept, 1 will do what? 1 will keep X. 2 will keep how much? 2 will keep how much? So the changes is here. So 1 will keep X, 2 will keep 100 minus X. Can you see it? So the changes is in here. Disrupt the position. Also, it's okay, it doesn't matter. It's just the language, that's all. Right. Nothing special, nothing to think about. It's just English language. If 1 offer X to 2, if 2 accept, 2 of course will get X, 1 get the rest, right? But if you use the word keep, if 1 wants to keep X, depending on 2 accept, now if 2 accept, then 1 will get to keep his X, 2 will keep the rest. So it's just swap. As far as the perfect equilibrium is concerned, you should not be concerned, because the answer will be the same. Right. So whether you use the word to offer or keep, she will look at your working. So you don't have to worry. Now, generally in a final period game, I don't think you have to bother, but this final period game, the answer will change. But still, you don't have to worry, because we are not looking at the answer, we are looking at the working. That's why ME is easy to pass, because examiners look at your working. Which means even if your answer is wrong, it's okay. You could be wrong halfway or whatever, so we actually look at your working. Okay, simple. Okay, so I leave it to you to use offer or keep. Now, it's not up to you to decide. The question will say. But there are many years where the question did not say. Now, if the question did not state, then which one do you use, keep or offer? If nothing is mentioned, you use keep or offer, up to you. But once it's stated, you cannot choose what you want. Clear? Like last year exam, nothing mentioned. You use keep or you use offer, nothing mentioned. So therefore the thing is up to you. Okay, so we said before, if player 2 accept, the game over. But if you do reject, what happens? Every time there's a rejection, there's a delay cost. And so therefore, you have to shrink the pie by what? By 0.9. 0.9 is the discount factor, right? Now why you have to shrink the pie? Because every time when there's a rejection, there's a delay cost. So we have to calculate this delay cost, we multiply 100 times 0.9. It's a discount factor. Right, you adjust for what? Delay cost. And so, if player 2 counter offer Y to player 1, if 1 accept, 1 will get 1, 2 will get the residual under D minus 1. Simple? Okay, so the simple thing you always ask me, should I discount the pi or should I discount here? Which one? Should I discount the pi or the payoff? Which one should you discount? Well, it's very simple. That depends. Player 1 and player 2, the discount factor are the same. You can just discount the pi. However, if player 1 and player 2, the discount factor is different. So player 1 is this, player 2, the discount factor is this. Then you should discount the pi of the player. Discount the pi of the player. Discount here or discount here? Use some common sense. If you discount the pi, then we use which one? This or this? If you discount the pi, which one do we use? This or this? If you use this, why don't you use this? If you use this, why don't you use this? Right, so that's why ME, very simple, nothing much to study because you cannot study ME. So just basic common sense, right? I certainly cannot discount here. Because I'm in the dynamo, if I use this, you ask me why not. If I use this, you ask me why not, right? So therefore, we cannot discount here. Discount where then? You cannot discount here, that does not mean there's no delay cost, right? So you discount here. Okay? So of course, it's still be that, we have counter offer Z. So if player 1 accept, 1 will get Z, player 2 will get the residual. 2 period delay here has to be D squared. Okay, so we are told you the game still cannot agree, it will end, so everybody gets 0, 0. That's it. Now, once you solve the tree, how do you solve the tree? So every time you saw a tree, you go from the back right. So if you look at this, player 2. Now, under what condition will you accept? You will accept if the payoff of accepting, which is this, is higher than if you reject this, right? So very simple, player 2 will accept if the payoff of accepting here is greater than or equal to this. Solve for what? Solve for what? Yeah. Okay? So therefore, as long as Z is equal to 0, 2 will accept. So all you have to do is to put Z equal, satisfy this constraint. Put this constraint here, put this constraint here, and 2 will accept right. Right. So therefore the payoff will be this. Now, so if you go up the tree now, under what case will player 1 accept? Now 1 will accept if this is true. If the payoff of accepting is higher than you reject. Okay? So the same old stuff again. Solve for y. For y is this. That means as long as y is equal to this, 1 will accept. So all we have to put this value inside here, put this value of y inside here, and we will get the payoff. Understand? So put that inside, get the payoff. And so this process we have done in class all the way up here. So what we can say is that we continue as long as x is equal to this value, 2 will accept right away. Therefore, 1 will offer how much? This value. 2 will accept right away. Right. So 1 will offer how much? 2. He will offer this amount. 2 will accept right away. So therefore, the perfect equilibrium is player 1 will offer this amount. 2 will accept right away. Understand? Now, of course, in the infinite period game, slightly different. Now your 2408 question number 2013 question number 4. We find it again. Okay, so let's look at financial. That means this game goes on forever. That's what I do. So here we have two player 1 and player 2. So player 1 offer, okay, first is an infinite period game, this one. So this game will go on forever. Now, player 1 will offer the division of the cake of size 1 to player 2. Player 2 can accept or reject. Before I go further, what's the pie equal to? How much is the pie? The cake is the pie. So what is the pie equal to? Okay, so the arguing over this. Now player 1 offer the division, offer a fraction of the cake to player 2. Player 2 can either accept or reject. If we accept, the game ends. If we reject, we can propose a division which one can accept or reject. So this offer go on forever. The discount factor, find the sum gain perfect mesh equilibrium. Okay, you want me to use offer or keep? You want to keep that, you keep. But what did she do? She used offer. She used offer. Okay, then I use keep. It doesn't matter because some of you keep asking me, should I use offer or keep? So she do for you offer, right? Then do for you keep. Then it's the same thing. You restore your confidence and so on. Okay, so if I were to use the word keep, then what happened? It's up to player 2 to accept or reject. Remember the pie is how much? How much is the pie? Okay. So if player 1 wish to keep X, if player 2 accept, 1 will keep how much? 1 will get X, 2 will get how much? Normally you can use offer as I said before. If she did not mention, in this question it was not mentioned at all. To offer or keep right. So therefore the choice is yours. Okay? Since she do for you offer, then I just do for you keep, it's the same. So of course the answer will be different. That's okay. Because the answer is right. Okay. So here change position. Now for finite period game, we don't have to worry. For infinite period game, the answer will be different. So if, as you can recall in your lecture, in your subject guide, the infinite period model that we do is based on the stationary symmetric model. Right, so if it's based on the stationary symmetric model, means that wherever the offer is rejected, what happens? Wherever an offer is rejected, what happens? Again, starts all over again. Player 2 will counter offer X. You see, that's why it's called a symmetric model. In the infinite play game, every player will play the same one. Strategies. Player 1 play X, player 2 also play X. And whenever the offer is rejected, the game starts all over again. Brand new. So player 2 wish to keep X. It's up to player 1 to. If player 1 accept, 2 will keep X. 1 will keep 1 minus X. Agree? But remember, even though the game starts all over again, you have to adjust for delay cost. See, the payoff, although they are the same, but when you reject, there's a 1 period delay. So you have to discount the payoff. Understand? Now, why do you discount the time? Because the game starts all over again. All over again. The only difference is the delay cost here. Understand? Okay. So if you still reject, you go on forever to infinity. So this game will go on forever to infinity. Player 1 will offer X again. So it's a symmetric model. You move on and on and on to infinity. Okay. Now, find for me the perfect equilibrium. Find for me the perfect equilibrium. Okay. Solve for what? Solve for what? This one. Now, how many unknowns are there? One unknown. How many equations do you need to solve one unknown? One equation. So, as usual, once you see a tree, what do? Find the perfect equilibrium means solve this thing. Right? Whether it's chapter 2 or chapter 3, the same. Perfect equilibrium means solve the tree. You start here. You start here, but you can see no meaning. It goes to infinity. Now, but of course, if you look at the structure here, it's symmetrical. What is not symmetrical? The only difference is that you shrink the pie, the payoff is not right. Other than that, the payoff is exactly the same. Which means mathematically, if you start from here, or you start from here, it does not matter. Understand? Now, if that's the case, then you solve one unknown. I only need to one equation. Very simple. This guy will accept under one condition. You just need one equation. If you reject, player 2 will get this. Okay? So both players will always play the same strategy. Now, of course, if some of you wants to use this strategy Y here, it's okay. This guy every time play Y. But if you want to use Y here, how many unknowns do you have? Two. How many equations do you need? Two. Then you start here. Start here. You need two equations. Understand? Solve one. Okay, but of course the message, don't try to be smart. Just be humble. Use that sort of way. Alright, you want to be smart, it's okay, no problem. Just don't be too smart, that's all. You want to use Y, like I say, it's not an issue. Better to keep Y, better to keep Y, better to keep Y, better to keep X, keep X, keep X. All the way to clear out. Because you have two unknowns, so you need two equations. Okay? So from here, this guy will accept. Solve for what? Solve for what? Okay. So which means as long as X is equal to this value, two will accept. So that's the perfect. The two will accept, right? So the answer is okay, so let's go for when you do a symmetry information, so set up the problem that you have a used car dealer. So this used car dealer sells two types of car. So what about car is good car and bad car. Okay, of course your car, good or bad. The cost of repair. So this car will be sold with or without. If the car itself is sold with a warranty, then it's who pays for the repair cost. If the car is sold with a warranty, who pays for the repair cost? This car dealer. If it's sold without a warranty, then it's the customer pays for the repair cost. The repair cost is given here, good car, bad car. Now, how much is the repair cost? So depends on whether the customer treats the car well or treats the car bad. If the customer treats the car well, for a good car, if you treat it well, of course the cost of repair is 100. If you treat the car badly, the cost of repair might be 300. If you look at a bad car, if the customer treats the car well, the repair cost 900. Treating the car badly, the repair cost 106. Now, if you wish to treat the car well, you have to spend an additional cost of 100. Right? This is maintenance cost. You have to treat it well, you have to send for servicing this and that. Right? So this is an additional maintenance cost. You want to treat the car well. Now, a good car will cost the dealer, a used car dealer, $300 more. Right? That means a good car for a used car dealer, it will cost him $300 more than a bad car. So if the used car dealer buys a good car, he has to pay $300 more. Customer can sell a good car for how much? $300 more than a bad car after 1 year. So if you are a customer, you want a car after 1 year. If you buy a good car, you can sell for $300 more. Okay, both customer and dealers are risk insured. Now, first part here of the question. If the car is sold without warranty, what type of car will the used car dealer sell? if the car is sold without warranty, if you are the used car dealer, you will sell a good car or bad car. The mediocre car means bad car, good car. So if you are the dealer, if there's no warranty, if the car is sold without warranty, if you are the used car dealer, you rather sell a good car or bad car. But if you are a used car dealer, which one? You rather sell a good car or bad car? And there's no warranty. Anyone? Means therefore, the fastest way is still to look at the answer. Now, if there's no warranty, if I were to sell a good car, it will cost me $300 more. Right. So I must only sell a bad car. Why should I sell it? If I sell a good car, it will cost me $300 more. So better to sell a bad car. Well, if you buy you know there's a dealer will sell a bad car, right? So for sure, and there's no warranty, customer can buy a bad car. So given the fact that you buy a bad car, when you treat it well or treat it badly, you buy a bad car, if you talk to the car, treat the car well, the cost of repair is how much? 900. Okay? But if you treat the car badly, the cost of repair is 1,600. How would you react? You rather talk to the car or treat it badly? Or just ignore the car? Okay, if you are the customer, definitely you will treat the car well. Why? for sure you treat the car well. Because treating it well, the cost is only 1,000. Okay, really less than that. You see, you treat the back car well, you'll be back cost 900. Yes, you will pay 1,000 maintenance cost, right? So the cost is still lower than if you abuse the car. Okay, so for sure, when there's no warranty, you know a dealer will sell a bad car, the customer will definitely treat the car well. Right? But it's to his incentive to treat it well. If he mistreat it, it will cost him more, 1,600. Treating the car well, it will cost him only 1,000. Okay? There's a cost saving by treating the car well. B. So if the car is sold with a warranty, so B, if the car is sold with a warranty, what kind of car will the dealer sell? With warranty. So with a warranty, the dealer will sell our car. Draw for you the decision tree. The customer got two choices. You can either buy a new car or a bad car. Car you can sell so that's the advantage of buying a new car. Or you can also decide to buy a bad car. If you buy a good car, there are two things you can do. Treat the car well. Or you can also choose to treat it better. If you buy a good car, you treat it well. The repair cost 100, treat badly. Now if you buy a bad car, the same thing, there are two things you can do. Treat the car well. Okay, by the way, you treat the car well, the maintenance cost is higher. Okay, so what's the answer to B? If your car is sold with a warranty, dealer will sell out car. If the car is sold with warranty, if you are the dealer, what car will you sell? Good car or bad car? The warranty. You sell good car or bad car? With a warranty, if you are the car dealer, you have to sell a good car or bad car. By the way, with warranty, who pays for the repair? The car dealer pays for the repair, right? If you're the car dealer, you have to pay for the repair. You have to sell a good car or bad car. If you sell a good car, what's the repair cost? Because the repair cost depends on the customer, whether the customer will talk to the car. So with warranty, okay, that's the thing I find. With warranty, the customer will treat the car well or badly. If you are the customer, badly, right? For sure. Why? Because if you treat the car well, why should you treat the car well? Do you have to look at this if you are the customer? No, why? The costs are all paid by who? The dealer. So simple. So if I'm the customer, you treat the car well already. So the thing that, nothing to pay. You do not need to pay 1 cent for the repair. Treat the car badly, right? But why don't you treat it well? If you treat well, it will cost you how much? 100. Okay, so if I'm the customer, straight away, obviously, you're going to treat the car badly, right? You're going to pay too much. Repair is all paid by the dealer, so I don't bother. So I know for sure, customer, treat the car badly, you save 100 on maintenance. Okay? For sure, why bother to treat well? Dealer will sell out car. If you are the dealer, you sell good car or bad car. So if you are the dealer, you rather sell a good car or bad car? Which one? Well, very simple. You know that the customer 100% will treat the car badly, right? So given the fact that the customer will treat the car badly, if you sell a good car, it will cost the dealer repair cost 800. But if you sell a bad car, since the guy treats badly, the repair cost 1,600. So if you're the dealer, when you sell a good car or bad car, you know you will treat the car badly, you will sell a good car or bad car. Give me the cost of selling a good car. As far as the dealer is concerned, good car costs the dealer how much? So if you are the dealer, you sell a good car or bad car. What's the cost if you sell a good car? run out. So definitely, you rather sell a new car. Okay, any question? You sell a new car, your overall cost is 1,001. You sell a bad car, your overall cost is 1,006. Okay, any problem? So the actual cost saving is 900. So for sure we know B, the car will be sold with warranty. If it's sold with warranty, the customer will treat the car badly, dealer will sell the car. C. What's the maximum amount the customer will pay for warranty? What is the if you are the customer, you can buy a car without warranty or with warranty, right? If you wish to buy with a warranty, what's the maximum amount that you are willing to pay for this warranty? Now, when there's no warranty around, when there's no such thing as a car dealer doesn't sell with warranty, right? What's our cost of repair? When there's no such thing called warranty, what's the cost of repair? Then on the exam, asymmetric information is the best. There's only asymmetric information exam stuff. Can be any format, can be anything. There's no clear cut. In fact, in ME, most of the things are no standard thing. Right, standard formula, standard things that you learn in macro, micro. ME very diverse. It's like a loose cannon, and you're firing. Sometimes they feel like asking you this, sometimes they feel like asking you that. So every question, the variation is there. The difficulties you have to set up the variation. Setting up the variation actually is very tough. You understand? Now, so far, I don't think you know it's tough yet, because you know why? All the while, as I said before, very simple. How to solve a problem? The fastest way is to look at the answer. That's why you never have to set up the variation itself. Now, if I don't do for you 2012, which I don't have time, right, or 2011, you try to set up the variation itself. Then you understand what I mean by easy. It's not that easy. Easy is something that okay, in any case, can you tell me? So which means if you do asymmetric information, it's something that you are familiar with. If not, I tell you find out too. Because asymmetric information is something that's not quite straightforward. Now, when there's no warranty, what's the cost of repair? The customer, how much is the maximum amount the customer will pay for warranty, right? Now, when there's no warranty, what's the cost, total cost for the customer? Give me the customer cost. total cost. Because when there's no such thing as a warranty, customer buy without car. When there's no such thing as a warranty, the customer will buy without car. So again, the fastest way is to look at the answer. We already found that when there's no warranty, customer will always buy a bad car. Okay? Why they always buy a bad car? Because when there's no such thing called warranty, will a dealer ever sell a good car? No. Therefore, the only car available in the market is a bad car, right? And we also know that if the car is bad, the customer will treat the car well. Okay, so when there's no warranty, okay, I think I'll refer you to part A. When there's no warranty, see part A. You end up with bad car and customer what? Treat well, right? You end up with this. Okay, can you give me the cost then? The total cost is how much? First, when the customer buy a bad car and he treat the car well, the cost of repair is how much? Bad car treat well, cost of repair 900. When there's no warranty, repair cost is 900. Any more? To treat the car well, he has to spend how much? So that's a maintenance cost. So total how much? 1,000. Okay? So when there's no warranty, the customer cost of repair and whatever, 1,000. So let's see what can a warranty do. So I'm going to look at the case now with warranty. Now, once dealers sell car with warranty, customer will do what? We are trying to determine the value of the warranty, right? So if when car is sold with warranty, you are the customer, you can choose to buy a warranty or choose to reject the warranty, right? So the thing is it worthwhile to buy the warranty? If I don't buy the warranty, if I reject the warranty, what's my cost of repair when car is sold with warranty? Okay, first thing, when car is sold with warranty, what kind of car will be sold on the road? When car is sold with warranty, what kind of car will be there? Good car. Customer treat the car well or bad? Bad. So when dealers sell car with warranty, you only see good car on the road, which are badly treated. Right? Some with 3 wheels, some with 2 wheels. So warranty, you end up with a case of good car, badly treated good car. Okay, now that being the case, when car is sold with warranty, you can don't buy it. Right? If I don't buy it, what's my cost? I'm trying to see how much this warranty helps to save me, you know what I mean? If I reject the warranty, the cost is how much? I don't want the warranty. What's my repair cost? Well, first thing I know, I'm going to badly treated good car, badly treated good car. And so that's why I draw you this decision tree. If it's a good car which is treated badly, if I reject the warranty, if the car spoil, it will cost me how much? 800. Right. Since car show a warranty, if car show a warranty, you only see good cars, but they're all badly treated. So if I don't accept the warranty, I have to pay for the repair cost. Good car treated badly, the repair cost is 800. So if I reject the warranty, my cost will be 800. So that's repair cost. Okay? Hey, but one thing. After 1 year, I can sell the car for how much? $300 more. This is an additional value I get from selling the car. Right? If I sell a good car, I can get $300 more. So therefore, my actual cost is only this. 500. Yeah? So my actual cost is only 500. Okay. How much are you willing to pay for a warranty? How much are you willing to pay for a warranty? If you are a customer, what's the maximum amount that you will be paying for a warranty? See, when there's no warranty, when cars are sold without warranty at all, my cost of repair as a customer is 1,000. But if the dealer sell a car with warranty, I can go on the warranty and reject it. If I reject the warranty, my cost is how much? 500. So therefore, the warranty actually saved my cost by how much? And there's such thing called warranty. The warranty actually reduced my total cost by how much? 1,000 minus 500. When there's no such thing called warranty, my total cost will be 1,000. When there's such a thing called warranty, the warranty actually helps me to save my cost by how much? 500. So if I reject the warranty, I will have to pay 500. So the introduction of a warranty actually reduced my overall cost from 1,000 to 500. Understand? So therefore, the maximum I will pay for the warranty is 1,000 minus 500. That's how much the warranty is worth. So that's the part here. warranty. What type of car will be sold? You need to see good car. But they are treated very well. The warranty, very treated good car. CPAP. If you are the dealer, how much will you charge for a warranty? If you are the dealer, what's the minimum amount that you will charge for a warranty? If you are the car dealer, how much will you charge for a warranty? Now, the fact that you have to sell good car, right? Versus the warranty, how much is your repair cost? Sell a good car that's treated badly, your repair cost how much? 800. Right? You have to pay it because once there's a warranty, the dealer has to pay it. Actually, there's no free lunch right in this world. Understand? Whenever they said they give you a warranty, that means they said you pay, right? Actually, you pay. Right? It's pricey. So the dealer cost. Okay, can anyone tell me what other cost is incurred? And there's a warranty. What's the dealer total cost? He has to pay 800 for repair, but because he's also selling a good car, right? Good car will cost him how much? So the minimum amount is how much? 1,001. Okay. Having to sell a new car, you cost $300 more. Having to pay for your repair cost 800, right? All in cost the dealer 1,001. So for sure, if the car is sold with a warranty, the dealer needs you to pay for everything. Right? So the minimum amount they will charge you for the warranty will be 1,100. Okay, any other question? Okay, so no problem, let's do D. E, we are talking about partial warranty. Partial warranty means the dealer will only pay how much, some, and the rest will pay. So the dealer pay a fraction. these are the information given. So they ask to do what? Find P such that the dealer will sell the well-treated good car. So find this fraction. Okay, this here, what we do is we introduce partial warranty. So partial warranty means the dealer will pay part. Okay. Now, to find the fraction P, how much must the dealer pay for the repair cost? Find this fraction P. In order for him to sell a well-treated good car. Okay, first thing, if you are a dealer, you need to sell a well-treated good car. If your total cost is smaller than if you sell a well-treated bad car, right? Now, so we know he will sell a if the cost, you give me the cost. Now, if you sell a good car first, the cost is this. This is one. Because this good car. That's what else. Now, if you sell a well-treated good car, give me the repair cost. How much is the repair cost for a well-treated good car? Since now we're going to pay part of the repair, right? A well-treated good car, what's the repair cost? 100. If we sell a well-treated good car, the total cost is this. Right or wrong? What's wrong? Where wrong? If you said wrong, what's wrong? Which part of the here is wrong? It's a partial warranty, right? So the repair cost you pay how much? No, how much? This amount. This fraction, right? So we only do that if the repair cost is smaller than 1. Selling a well-treated bad car. If you sell a well-treated bad car, the cost is how much? Well-treated bad car, the cost is 900, right? But did he has to pay 900 for the repair cost? No, we only pay fraction. Okay. So this is the fraction P that he has to pay, such that you will sell a well-treated good car. Okay, any question? today I think I'll stop here. Because many of you want to ask me questions. The rest of the time, depending on how many if you are one curve, you have two curves, this skill will be on. Two curves, this will be Q1 plus Q2. If there are three curves, then this skill will be on. If there are three curves, then this will be Q1 plus Q2 plus Q2.
Ủa em ôn cái này em ôn tới cách
You
nào?
can see this cost function, constant modular cost. Because if you DC will equal
Có 7 có 7 là em ôn.
means when you look at this cost function, is there a fixed cost
Sao
here?
78 9 gì nhiều thế?
What's the fixed cost here?
Em thấy có mấy người nói chung em ôn hết mà phần đó em chỉ bỏ bài
Bài
Okay, so when you look at this
ở đi nhất
function,
cái bài mà
there's
biết đi nhất
đi
okay, you can tell whether a function is fixed cost or not by
không phải không hiểu bài gì hết.
But here
Em ôn
there's
được bài
this
4
thing called
Existing gì đó đó. Em đã biết có biết 4 Existing mà
this is a constant.
cái gì anh
Okay, so the constant will be a fixed cost.
thôi phần đó mình bỏ.
So
Chỉ bỏ hai bài
when
đó.
you look at fixed cost,
3 nghìn nữa là được
that's why we know this function there's no fixed cost. So when there's no fixed cost, the
Có học
marginal
không
cost,
dạ hỏi chứ học BB
cũng được không nhận nói chung
if you have a constant marginal cost, actually not necessarily in the base.
phải cái nào cũng
Right? This could be a Q square. Then it's not constant marginal cost. Okay? So if this is Q square, is this constant marginal cost? No, right? The marginal cost will be dq. Now, if you look at constant marginal cost, can we say it's equal to average cost? If you can see here, the marginal cost will be 20q, right? Now, if it's 20q, in the first place, is this constant marginal cost? It's not constant marginal cost, right? The marginal cost is rising with what? Q. So Q becomes bigger and bigger. The marginal cost becomes bigger and bigger. So if it's not constant marginal cost, you cannot say it's equal to average cost. Now, even that, even if this is constant marginal cost, right?
em in hết
Can we say this is equal to average cost?
đừng
Is constant marginal cost equal to
cái phần nữa mà
constant average cost?
chú in
Okay, so this is an issue.
9
There's no
chú
fixed
in đề
cost.
209 cho đến
Now, when there's fixed cost,
Ủa lộn
then the thing is wrong.
chú in đề 27
You cannot say,
209 dưới
you cannot say that
2013
C equal AC.
ngày 13
hả?
em chưa in hay
Okay, so
Bây giờ không biết
usually
trường
when you
ở
do
đâu.
staggered, you start
Quỷ trên trường á, hay quỷ vậy á.
the leader, then followed by the follower, right? So when you set out the tree, as usual from your lecture notes, when you do with staggered, you have the leader, number one set the quantity, right? Number two follow the lecture notes. But when you solve the problem, it's a sequential problem, right? Go by the back, start from understand? So when you solve, you go by curve. It means, in our case, if you look at 2013 question 2, we have a question on staggered. Go for this. Constant marginal cost 5, average cost 6. Normally as constant marginal cost 3, this cost 6. We now function this. Okay, A is the leader, B is the follower. That means you have to solve this problem with the 5. You start from here.
Không nên ôm cái lòng.
Okay, so find the
Hết rồi.
element variable.
Chung giờ mới là bà project sắp lâu thì không sao. Còn game dùng value cũng
Cái gì vậy?
bà reconciliation nó đỡ đỡ. Sửa mấy cái bảng vector cao á.
À, cái đó là reconciliation. Cái đó chị là làm được.
Em thì em
Nhưng mà balance sheet vẫn chưa làm được.
em thấy vậy là cái đề 2/3 cái câu này ấy, nếu thì phải sao
Chị in nha, chữ gì đồ chị đi.
hả?
Chị đi in.
Dở hả?
Ừ. Cái thằng này coi rồi.
Look at the solution. Now, the price was given as this. Right, so this, so we start from B. So for B, so this on price. Minus 3, what's 3? Or from B, the constant marginal cost of 3. So you minus 3. Now this appears to be a profit part. Now 1 minus 6 again. So this is your fixed cost. Okay. Now, you should not look at this as price minus average cost. Because you can see from here that firm B marginal cost is 3. Now, if firm B marginal cost is 3, now notice this one is on price. Now, if this is on price, is this your average cost? To find profit, we used to take price minus average cost times quantity, right? Is this our average cost 3 here? It's marginal cost. Right, so price minus marginal cost times quantity, then minus our fixed cost, 6. You have to get this equation. You cannot think price minus average cost times quantity. Usually profit is price minus average cost times quantity. But I will caution you, this is not profit. Because this one is marginal cost. Okay, so how to get out of this equation here? As I said before, you have to be careful. This is constant marginal cost, but it's not equal to the constant average cost because that's fixed cost. Okay, so in this case, term B also given as well. Term B marginal cost is 3. Total fixed cost. Again, this not considered average cost. So if you wish to find the staggerable solution, now we are given that firm B is the formula, right? Therefore you must start with it. Okay, that means if you want to treat sequentially A decide what quantity to produce, then B decide. So when you solve the tree, you will start from the model B. Now as far as B is concerned, what's the profit of firm B? So you cannot go and use price minus average cost. It cannot work anymore, right? So you have to find the standard profit. Standard profit is total revenue minus what? Total revenue minus total cost, right? So T is this. Okay, how many firms are there? How many firms are there? 2 firms. So this Q is Q1 plus Q2. Understand? So in this case, we have to find total revenue, which is price. Times quantity. Okay, for firm B, okay, sorry. Student call, not firm. Also A firm B. Okay, so the price times. Firm B produce. Okay, I tell you what, firm A, I call it, we call firm A and B, right? You see all the Q1, Q2 stand for what? Firm 1, firm 2. Understand? And this, and we write this as A and B. So now I think that's it. It means firm B produce Q2. Firm A produce Q1. Q1. If not, then we alter here QA, QB. What do you think? To me, I think it doesn't matter. Okay, we have to alter this from A from B. Okay, so we use from A from B. Okay, which means the profit of B will be price times quantity minus total cost. Okay, can you give me the total cost? The total cost comes from what? Total variable cost plus. Total variable cost plus what? Total fixed cost. How to find total variable cost? Total variable cost is the sum of all the marginal costs. The sum of all the marginal costs is the total variable cost, right? Okay. Now in this case, the marginal cost is constant for every unit. Clear enough? If it's constant, then not a problem. The total variable cost will be MC times 1. For firm B is constant as 3. So therefore, the total variable cost will be MC times what? 3 times what? QB, how much will be produced, right? You sum up all the MC, each unit, the cost is 3, 3, 3, 3, 3 constant, right? Every unit, the cost is how much? Every unit, the cost is 3. So if you sum them up, 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 is how much? Just Q times 3. Well, if you produce Q units, then the total variable cost will be Q times 3. For example, if you produce 2 units, the total variable cost will be 2 times 3. 3 units, 3 times 3. 10 units, 10 times 3. Understand? Okay, so that will be your total variable cost. When you sum up all the MC plus fixed cost, how much? For firm B 6. Okay, you understand? Okay. Now, which means if you common factor out the QB, you see here, okay, common factor out this QB, cannot, okay, sorry, but common factor out that over here. Actually, this equation comes from that. You understand what? You cannot go and take price minus marginal cost times quantity and treat it as a profit. It's very wrong. Understand? Your price minus marginal cost, essentially that's what it will. Then times quantity. Actually, this whole thing gives you the total variable cost. Understand? I mean the total revenue minus total variable cost minus fixed cost. So what you don't see here is that this equation is actually coming from here. Right, any question? So total revenue minus total variable cost plus fixed cost. So that will be the profit function of B. Now, as far as B is concerned, B objective is to maximize profit. So how much should B produce? So we so that's how you can QB. Right, when he says taking first order condition, give you QB, right? So that's how you get QB. Okay, any question? Now, to find the answer, we have only one equation we cannot solve for 2 unknown. You agree? So when you solve for 2 unknown, now you have to take one. Create another equation, right? So what's phi A equal to? Okay, can I take a shortcut problem from here? I still want to go through this. This model is honor or staggable. What's the difference? Honor or staggable? Staggable, what goes wrong here? Where's the error? The differentiate this. Where's the error? Where's the error? Here. Agree? Because this one you have to remember that for staggable, how much firm 2 or the leader produced, how much firm D produced depends on how much firm 1 the leader has already produced, right? Firm B produces this amount. Right? So what we have to do is when you do staggable, Because you see here, I d pi over dqa. Now if you d pi over dqa, the first most important thing is you have to differentiate qb. Now qb, if it's called out, just remember, it's a constant. But for Staggerbird, it's different. Right? Because for Staggerbird, qb is not constant. Because how much firm 2 produce depends on how much firm 1 has already produced. Can you recall? So Q2 is not a constant, it's a function of Q1. Agree? Okay, so this part of overload. So how much firm 2 produce is a function of Q1. In other words, Q2 will be equal to Q1 squared. Which means as long as I do a differentiation, I cannot do differentiate Q2. You understand? Q2 is not a constant. But for column, yes, because how much each conductor produce, it does not depend on each other. Understand? So therefore, in this case, we have to modify the thing here. That means the only thing that we miss out is this QB. You must write as 1. It's not a constant in differential relation to QA. QB is, you must write as 1. This one. Understand? That means here, pi A is equal to 30 minus 2QA minus 2, what's QB? So don't forget this QB must be here. Okay, can you all see it now? So this is your QB, right? Minus 2QB minus 5. Then times QA minus 6. Okay, so the profit function you have to open up as something like this. Then you can now do your differentiation. already minus on 1. You see, 30 minus 1 is not 1. 35. This minus 1 is I'm going to minus it. Understand? I minus away, but I forgot minus it. 30 minus 1 is 25, right? So this 1 go away. Okay, so in this case here, so what we have here will be, in this case, this will be 25. Okay, so 25 minus 35.
我喜欢你啊。
Okay, so once you found the staggered word, the leader will use this and then the follower will use this one. So you put this into QB. Okay, so I think now you can find both quantity, right? The price is straightforward. The rest we can do the sum, right? So once we solve the quantity, price is simply just P minus P equal to D minus 2QA minus 2QB. Okay, in other words. So we found QA and QB already, you substitute inside here. So the price should be 10.71. Okay, so I think the rest of the equation is okay, so the key thing that I think that's missing is only this one, right? So the rest are straightforward. Okay, it's just that this part you did not solve it. You see, the solution given to you is only missing this part to solve for you, this part to solve. So once I already solve for you, QA to the price and profit becomes secondary. Because if you have the P, you have the Q, or QB, you just put your QA here, QB here, you get the profit here. Okay, so the rest is straightforward. Okay, I'll move on to since you can do staggered, I think there's another question on law police, which I believe you can handle. I just want to highlight maybe certain points that you need to know. Now, in Zone B, there's a problem on corner. Now, for the corner solution, I just want you to remember one thing. See this problem or not? Question number. Zone B, question number 2. Okay, for the Zone B, question number 2. Only a few things I need to know about honor of the police. Now, this slightly similar to what we have done. I think the only difference is here we are asked to find the honor of the work. Now, as you solve your profit function again, you have to be careful because you have a constant marginal cost, but there's a fixed cost of 6. You understand? So the means how to solve the profit equation. Give me the profit equation. So what's the profit function equal to? Again, I think if you read the answer, you will see this part, price minus material cost times minus fixed cost, right? This is wrong. By right, for this equation should be what? Suppose for firm A, question 2 for firm A. Function is this. Okay, just for firm A, first 5 days. So you're holding the price for firm A. This. So that will be your price times quantity minus the total variable cost. Firm A will be 5QA. Total fixed cost 6, right? So the total cost comes from this. Which means if you rearrange the equation, you should have something like this. I use symmetry. I use symmetry to find out. This is mono. So can I use symmetry? Why cannot? This is mono. Mono probably we use symmetry, right? How about we cannot use symmetry? Are the equations identical for firm A and firm B? Are the equations identical for these two firms? Definitely not identical. You see, if it's firm B, the price is this. If firm B here will be QB, so far this is identical, right? But this part, firm B, the total variable cost is how much? 3. 3 times QA plus 6, right? So are the two equations identical? No, this is 3 for firm B, right? There's a difference here. You notice that's why I already showed in class the shortcut is in the equation. Although for not you can use symmetry, but you should make sure that the costs are the same. If you cannot tell whether a function is identical or not. So you just look at the cost, you can see that the costs are not the same. Right, so we cannot use symmetry. If you use that, if you don't understand the meaning of symmetry, the cost must be the same, and they must be symmetric, or not Bertrand solution. Understand? So here, because for firm B here is 3 times 2 plus 6. So we cannot use symmetry, which means in order to solve this problem, you need one more equation, right, Vishnu? So you have no choice under this case, you have to create one more. Okay. Now I think this question is already more or less done. Do you want me to do it? Because I think we solve for you QA. It's okay. Solve for you this really right. For me, the profit equation you should know what is this. Okay, same thing. And from here, solve for you QB. With respect to these two, is it possible for you to solve them simultaneously? Do you need me to work it out for you? You create pi b. Now the pi, of course, is a short form of what we have done just now. Understand? Similar to how I find for you pi a. Then you d pi b over what? dqb. So you get this equation, right? So from here, you can use direct substitution. Put this equation to there, qb there. So I think this is what I have to do. Simple enough. Okay. Now, the only thing I want you to be careful with, year after year about or not is what's the problem? The problem is when you use symmetry in Carnot. For example, if you look at this problem, zero fixed cost, constant marginal cost therefore is equal to constant average cost, right? Now when you find a Carnot solution, price is this, total revenue, so this is your price. Quantity for firm 1. Now, Carnot, do you need to start at firm 2? You don't have to, you can start at anyone you want. Right, so you can start at firm 1 first, but for Staggerbird, always the follower first. Then total revenue minus total cost, average cost of now, of course, if you wish to solve by P minus AC, you also can in this case. In this case, because you can take price minus average cost, then touch. You still get the same answer. In other words, you can factor out the Q1. Now, the problem that most of you make is in your Carnot exam is from here. Now, many of you recognize that this is symmetric, for sure, and also because the costs are the same, right? So you can tell from here that you can use symmetry. Okay? Now, but the symmetry should not start here. Many of you go and use, so you apply the symmetry here. Now, if you apply the symmetry, symmetry means if you d pi over the dq, the quantity will be the same, right? Can you put, start here, Q1, this output is Q1. Can you apply symmetry at here? So most of you, for 10%, when you do Carnot of pollution, so you make an error here. You started applying symmetry at this part here, and I think this is wrong. Right. Now why is wrong? Because you cannot do it this way. Is Q2 equal Q1 here? Although, by right, Q2 equal Q1, right? But can you start your Q2 equal Q1 here? is I write this as Q1. The way you cannot write. This is a general equation. Their quantity Q1 and Q2 are not the same. You understand? The Q1 and Q2 is a variable here. So you can stand for any value. They are only the same. And here, after you do this, you know why? Because after you do this, there's only one output that gives the highest profit. Understand? And we know that every firm, because they want to maximize profit, they will always produce this special quantity. You understand? So there's only one output where all firms produce on the same. It happens to be the same because here all the firms are identical. So to maximize profit, all will produce the same quantity because their profit function is the same. So that's why the Q are the same. So you can get a price symmetry after you do this. If you didn't do this and you got a price symmetry right away, starting from here, everything will be wrong. Because they are not the same. They are only the same at here after you solve here. Understand? What's this quantity here? Profit maximizing quantity. It has to be the same because all wish to maximize profit. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so this is Lagrange, not very common during the exam. Pollution also. Now, when you do pollution, this can be called pollution this one. All the firms combine together. Now, if all the firms combine together, then how to find the output produced by each firm? Right, so we're using the collusive model first to find how much each firm produces. Now, of course, when two firms collude together, they are acting like what? Monopolies. So they're acting like a monopolies. Which means if they're acting like a monopolies, then we just treat them as a monopolies, right? So P will be this. And what's the amount? So the marginal revenue will be 100 minus 2Q. So how much will the cartel produce once they produce together? So you set the M1 to MC, right? So the cartel should produce how much? As a group. So the output produced from this cartel as a whole group. So the marginal revenue will be the same as this, right? Except the slope here is how much? 2. Right? So as a cartel, the cartel demand function is this, the M1 is this. Which means how much does the cartel produce? They will always produce until the maximized profit what quantity to produce. You set M1 to MC. So this will be so the cartel produces. Student asked me this very funny question. I cannot really remember. They said that when I solve for this problem here, I solve this way, right? So they said this is wrong. And I said why? He says he learned that from another school of thought that it must be solved this way to get the cartel output. Alright. Now, you see, even if I solve this way as well, I get the same answer, right? How much will each firm produce? Well, the profit of the firm is price minus, because there are two firms, so this Q will be Q1 plus Q2. Right, so this will be a price minus your average cost. Now, okay, here because I said M1 to MC. Right, so your MY is essentially this one. MC is 0. So for firm 1, I use symmetry. Now, I use symmetry because the Q are the same. So I can write this as 2Q1. And so I found 1 and found 1. They told me I cannot do it this way. What's wrong with this way? If I do this way, can you see that my answer will still be 50 anyway? You understand? So therefore, you should follow my way. You see, you make a very big mistake by doing this way. If you assume that when you're doing this way, you're assuming all the firms are what? Same. You agree or not? Very simple question. That's how I just show you in the two firms their cost function are not identical. You understand? If their cost function are not identical, can we say that can we just conveniently take how much will each one produce? Oh, therefore each one produce 25. Very wrong. Very wrong. As a cartel, yes, they will produce the same quantity. But as to how much each firm produce, we cannot assume that we divide by 2. You understand? This one you can do it because they are symmetrical. You understand? I mean, very simple. Come to the case of here. How much each one produce? Are they identical? No, right? So when you do find it, of course the total market output will be correct. But you say how much each one produces, if you go and divide by 2, you get 0 right away. Understand? So here, this computation was based on a very simplistic example that all the firms in each cartel, they are identical. They cannot. Entirely wrong. You understand? So I think this student doesn't understand the meaning of symmetry yet. So you overlook this point. Now, if that can be done, I can also assure you from your lecture notes. You don't have to go through this step, right? Why you want to go through all this problem of finding a cartel? Now, when you're doing pollution, why take the trouble of going through all this? Your lecture notes. Just if all the firms form a cartel together, right? If these two firms form a cartel, I can just solve from here. I don't have to break all into firms. I just file as a big Q and d pi over d big Q will do around. And why do I need to find how much will firm 1 produce and how much will firm 2 produce? You understand? If that being so simple, you don't have to go through all these problems. Because we cannot assume that the firms are identical. If they are identical, then of course it's not an issue. Okay? Any other question? Which means, how much should each firm produce? That's why you have to find out a country what the firm wants to produce this. Because their costs are different. If their costs are different, C1 and C2. Alright, country 1 the cost is C1, country 2 the cost is C2. If they are different, you cannot apply symmetry. You need 2 equations to solve one. Okay? Okay, you understand now? So don't go and use the big one. Possible. Now, the other thing is, for instance, I think if you look at, there's one question, okay, maybe I do this cost different. there's one question on the production. The question is how much should each firm produce? This is similar to a cartel. Similar to a cartel. Why? There are two different countries. Here now why we don't call it country, we have two different firms around. This same company, this manufacturer has two different fronts to operate. If you look at it as two different firms, right? Now, prime one, the cost function is this, one, two, the cost function is this. The demand function, market demand is this. How much output should each plant produce? Now, is this very different from our cartel? No. Because this plant one and plant two are owned by who? The same firm, right? So it's like as if these two plants now pollute. Understand? So this two plant is like, because it's owned by one firm, you can look at it as like a collusive model. So they pollute together to produce. Then how much the firm one produce, how much the firm two produce. So when you look at pollution, you cannot go and look at the market demand. You can find the total output produced by the two manufacturer, right? Then you can write this as 2 minus big Q over 3, set MR to MC. Understand? Now that, like I said before, is the same thing. If you find from here set MR to MC, right, market MR to the market MC, right? But you do find what is the total output. Now if you find the total output is 50, you cannot say each will produce 51. Why? Exactly the same kind of problem that you highlight, because the costs are different. Then in this case now, how much should each one produce? So this is a question similar to unconditional demand. Right? But the concept is the same as pollution. How much should firm produce and then what? MR1 equal MC equal to MR equal MC2. As I said before, why one MR? Because there's only one market demand. Why there are two MC? Two different firms. I mean, two different firm or factory, right? Two different plants. So therefore, how much should each firm produce? You see, you will make a very big mistake by finding the total and then divide by 2. You should start to solve from here. Clear? Okay, any question? Okay, so this problem is a bit conceptually more like a cartel, but it's actually a problem of cost and production. Right. 7, production and cost. There are 2 types of question on that. We have a conditional demand for labor. We have unconditional demand for labor. Now remember, the unconditional demand for labor is, the unconditional demand means what? To maximize profit. So normally to maximize profit, we can set up the profit function. Okay. Now in this case, you have to find out the profit function. Okay. This from here, you can actually solve this problem by setting out this profit function here. Understand? So you set out this profit function, then you can find out how much film you produce and how much you produce. So there are 2 ways to solve the problem. Clear? Now if you don't want to solve from here, it's okay, then you just memorize this one. Because when you do your differentiation, you end up with this. When you do your differentiation here, you end up with this. You understand now? So you should get the same answer. It means if you solve from first principle, then how you write the function? From first principle. So it's up to you to solve the problem in whichever way. But if you are solving from first principle, profit is how much? The manufacturer profit is how much?
Gì vậy? Viết cái đó, đó cho mình.
Okay, so the given the demand function is P equal to minus Q over 3, right?
Không nhận gì vậy?
So your profit is equal to price. P again is minus Q over 3. Okay, so that's the price. Now, before I go further, tell me what's wrong with this price. Don't copy the topic.
Yến, hỏi là
What's wrong with this price?
ba mẹ em nó cầm tiền qua, có cầm tiền đô Mỹ qua không? Có lần nói chung là gửi tiền vào cho em á, gửi đô Mỹ gửi học sinh.
You write this way, what's wrong? See, this is the market output.
Không đi cũng có rồi.
What happened is, he says this is the demand function, by right, this should be a big Q, right? Right, you read the problem. He didn't write as big Q. Now, although it's not written as a big Q, but it cannot be a small Q even, because we are told that this is the market demand. Therefore, actually, by right, this should be a big Q. Right, so therefore, this big Q you must write as what? There are two firms, right? Two branches, so it should be written as Q1 plus what? Q2. Understand? Not necessarily true. You only write this Q as equal to Q1 plus Q2 if both firms are operating. What about part B? The firm only uses plant 2.
Ảnh này chưa?
The firm only uses plant 2 to produce. Okay, so I want to know for part B. The firm only uses plant B to produce. What's this Q here?
Phải em nói chung là đem ở đây tờ vô không?
Q1 plus Q2?
Chị no ID với nó nữa.
Part B of the problem. The firm only uses plant 2 to produce. This Q should be what? Q2, right? All the output only from Q2, right? So therefore, you only write this Q as Q1 plus Q2 if both plants are used. Clear now? Okay, so your profit function, you're going to solve from first principle, you have to be careful of this, depending on how many plants you are using. Okay? So in this case, minus Q1 plus Q2 over 3. Okay, so that's our price. So what should we do? Profit is total revenue minus total cost, right? Okay, can you give me this price plus the quantity? What?
Ủa nó kêu mình đăng ký cái zoom A zoom B này ở đâu ra vậy em? Cái mà mình đăng ký zoom A zoom B đó
So this is total revenue
sao biết?
minus your total cost.
Nhưng mà làm
Now, you can see from this
nhưng mà làm sao
here,
biết được á?
or from one quarter
Biết
plus
tự
Q1
bảo á
square.
là làm sao biết gì công ty là mình ngồi ở zoom nào, mình làm zoom nào,
Or from two,
mình ngồi
one
ở
quarter
zoom nào.
plus
Tại nó chỉ cho mình cái
Q2
skill
square.
mình làm thôi, chứ nó không cho mình lên.
cái gốc đó chắc có một kiểu
Mà sao em biết là mình làm zoom B?
Okay, so this is
Thì sao?
mình mới
option.
điều
Okay?
hai đứa mình khác nhau.
So if the firm wants to decide how much
Không.
Q1 to produce like run one, right? Then you d pi over 1. D pi over dQ1. And to find out how much run 2 should produce, you d pi over 1. dQ2. Understand? Okay. So that's it. Now, I think their solution is resolved directly from what my equal MC. That means if you look at the solution, how he do it? So you solve from where? So he uses NY by MC. Understand? Any question? So therefore, the choice is yours. Now, whichever method you do, you should get the same answer. Because when you d pi over dq1, you actually get NY equal MC1. D pi over dq2, you actually get NY equal MC2. Understand? Okay, do you all need me to show you why? Answer is this. Can you handle it yourself? MC2, right? So what's the NMR? So NMR will be the same as this, except here is what? 2 times steeper, correct? So that means there's a 2 here. You can see it not? See here first for a while. If there's a 2 here, this becomes 2Q1 over 3, this becomes 2Q2 over 3. Clear? Okay, so if you use this way, it's easier for you mathematically. So you set M1 to MC1. Now what I'm trying to tell you is that in the exam, sometimes you don't know what to do. You solve from first principle is always the safest. Understand? Because sometimes some question will ask you, find for me the optimal labor to hire to maximize profit. Then you d pi over dl from there. Alright, if they ask you to find the optimal price to maximize profit, you d pi over dp from there. Incidentally, this one is d pi over dq, that will give you the optimal quantity here. Understand? So if you're not sure, this question is good. Now, so you know how much should firm 1 produce. You set MR to MC1. Firm 2 MR to MC2, right? So for firm 1, therefore, MR is this. So MC1 is how much? Okay. So therefore we can solve from here.
lần luôn mà phải đăng ký trước rồi.
Get any question?
Thì tụi nó khác giờ
À,
thì giờ giám khác nhau nói chung giờ lúc mình thi thì sáng thì chỉ là còn
nó thì buổi sáng còn mình thi buổi chiều.
chắc lúc giờ
Chắc không hay là cùng một lúc thi.
giờ lúc mình thi có khi là anh em thôi mà cách giờ mình có được giờ
Tại chị thấy á, lúc nào cũng có 1 giờ duy nhất rồi.
chị sẽ thi trước nó thi sau đúng không?
This is your question.
Thi trước nó thi
Nói
trước.
chung là trong tôi sẽ có bạn
This is your question.
phải
This is
Có tin nhờ.
6. Then you divide by 7. Okay, so you found Q1, therefore you can
Cái này mai mốt có cái đứa nào phải thích bạn lắm, nhiều đứa thích nhau học cùng làm với mình. Trước khi không phải thì trước rồi mình chấm thành bài cho con rồi gửi bắt óc hay gì qua cho con đi.
Okay, any question? Simple. Then you just put half inside here. So therefore here will be 6 minus 2, right? Divide by 5. Okay, put half here. 6 minus 1. So it's 5, 5 divided by 5, 1. Here. Okay. 2 times 61 equal half. So it's 1. 6 minus 1 is 5. 5 divided by 5. Right.
Nhưng mà chị không phải nó có hàng phía trước á.
So, move on to anyway, option, I'll just check with you. The other day, have I solved? Zone B. Zone B, there's a question, function which is question 3. If I solve for you 3, zone B, question 3. In your zone B, there's a question 3 here. I will solve for you this week. Sit down here.
Coi coi, Thi Yến học giỏi lắm, mua sách mới, học mới luôn. Cái gì? Học mới rồi, có hơn.
This question,
Mới ra, mới ra.
this company,
Lát rồi, cái mới.
if one company wants to buy away, this company is worth, the valuation is B.
Cái này gì chị con hả?
So the current owner value the company as B. Now, of course, this current owner will sell if they get at least how much? B. Right, that's normal. If I think this thing is worth B, the valuation is B, right? I only sell if I get B or more. If someone offer me less than B, will I sell?
Cái gì?
I will sell, right? So we have this
Thấy cái gì? Một
owner
đồng tiền đúng không?
who thinks that this
Huh?
company is worth a valuation B.
Ồ vậy?
Now there's another company that wants to buy over, right? Predator. So Predator wants to buy over Prey. Now the only problem is that this person who wants to buy over this company, he doesn't know the valuation. Right, so but you need roughly know that the valuation can be 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, or 6 million. So all these 4 outcomes are equally large. What's the probability that the valuation is 2 million? The probability that the valuation turns out to be 2 million is how much? 1 quarter. 3 million? 1 quarter. 1 quarter, 1 quarter. 5. company is worth B plus 3 million more to the predator, the guy who buy over this company. The company, the valuation will go up by 3 million, right? Maybe because it's run by a very big company with professional management. So the only thing we know is that as long as predator buy over this company, the company will be instantly worth by another 3 million more. So what's the expected profit maximizing thinking of giving offer that predator should offer? It means if you are predator, you buy over this company, play right. What price should you
xem á, vui quá. Chắc là
make it or leave it offer? Make a bid. This guy is a big or leave it offer.
Mang những lúc nào
How much should you bid?
về nào giờ không biết luôn chưa hay không đi vậy. Ông nói Jun Bi, ủa nhưng mà chị nói là phải giống nhau mà không là chị nói vậy. Jun Bi để nói 2013 cái này á hả các bạn đặc biệt
If you buy over this company,
cũng mỗi năm mỗi khác đều khác nhau hả chọn
how much should you bid?
rồi còn cái này cái áo
You can
má
recall, the bidders are there to maximize profit or gain, right? So, how much is the profit or gain? So the only thing we know is that okay. So the only thing this we didn't know is that this company, the valuation can be any of these, right? So the valuation can be 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, or 6 million. So it's any of this valuation. So if you are the takeover company predator, how much do you offer? Now, you can offer 2 million, you can also offer 6 million. Let's say if you offer 6 million, what's your gain? If you were to offer 6 million, your gain is how much? 3.25 million, right? Is why? If you offer 6 million, the gain is now, when you offer 6 million, your gain depends on the actual valuation. Because if the actual valuation turned out to be 2 million, when you offer 6 million, you make a gain or loss. If you offer 6 million, but it's possible with 25% probability 1/4 that the actual valuation is 2, right? So if the actual valuation turned out to be 2, you make a gain or loss. Loss. You overbid by how much? By 4 million. So if you offer 6 million, if the valuation is 2, you make a loss of 4 million. Now, if you make a loss of 4 million, then how come it's 1 million? You make a loss of 4 million, but when you take over this company, the company's the valuation will rise by how much? 3 million. So you make that this extra gain from here, right? So what's the loss? 1 million, alright? So therefore, this loss only comes with probability 1/4. Simple. Now, if you offer 6 million, what happens if the guy's actual valuation turns out to be 3? You gain or loss? You gain or lose? Lose. You overbid again. If his actual valuation turns out to be 3, you lose how much? You overbid by how much? 3. you get back how much? 3. So what's your gain? 0. Agree? So gain is 0. Times 1/4. Now, if you beat 6 million, what happens if the guide valuation turned out to be 4? You make a gain or loss. You lose 2 million. You will be right. But you get back how much? 3. So minus 2 plus 3 is how much? Minus 2 plus 3 is how? 1. Okay? Probability 1/4. Make this gain. Okay, finally, when you bid 6 million and the bid turned out to be, the valuation turned out to be 6, what's your gain? 0. But because of the extra valuation of 3, so your gain is 0 plus 3. Right? Probability 1/4 that this happened, right? So times 1/4 you get this gain. Right, that's expected gain. So sum them up, this 3/4. Easy. So therefore the question is that you can bid to this or this or this. Which one should you bid? You bid 6 million, your expected gain is this. Maybe it's better to bid 2 million. Offer 2 million. Now, if you offer 2 million, is it better? Is it better to offer 2 million? Let's see. So if I were to offer 2 million, there are 4 possible cases. The actual valuation turned out to be 2. What's my gain? 0. Right? I offer 2, the actual valuation turned out to be 2, no gain, 0. But after you buy over the company, the valuation go up by how much? 3. So actually I make a gain of 0 plus 3. But this 3 only comes with probability 1/4. So my expected gain is this. Simple. Now what happens if the actual valuation turns out to be 3? What's my gain? I offer 2, but the actual valuation is 3 million. What's my gain? 1. Right. The actual valuation is 3. I offer 2. My gain is 1 million. Plus extra valuation 3. 4. So 4 times 1/4. Where's the 4? What happened to the 4? Shouldn't this be the case? Because if I offer 2 million, the actual valuation turned out to be 3, I make a gain of 1 plus 3, right? Whereas if it turned out to be 4 million, I make a gain of what? 2 million plus an additional 3. Where are all the gains? Go to where? Because the gain doesn't exist. Isn't it? Why the gain doesn't exist? How come only this exists then? Where are all the gains? The other gain? Very simple. If you are the seller, will you sell when your valuation is 3? If you are the seller, when this guy offer you this right, will you sell? No. Because he did not sell when this guy get the gain. No. In the same manner, if you offer this, but his valuation is this or this, will he sell or not? Any of this? No. Nothing to consider all these cases, understand? So you only make this gain if the actual seller valuation is here. The rest we don't have to consider because the seller will never sell. Okay, any question? And so therefore we have this, and so and so forth. Now if you understand these two things that I explained to you, the rest are very simple. Alright. We go for the same principle. So offer 2 million, or offer 3, or 4, or 6. So I think if you can see from here the expected gain, the highest is which one? This 3/4, this 1 1/4, this 1.5, definitely 1.5 is high. So you want to get the highest expected gain, offer 4 million. Okay, any question? Because any problem? Okay, so no problem. After the break, because every year nobody. If it's a question on conditional demand for labor, then you have to find the cost minimization for because the demand for labor after there's a condition attached. Means you find the condition attached, which is the quantity. So conditional demand means the condition attached is the quantity that you produce. Okay? So if you are given a fixed quantity to produce, condition on producing a fixed quantity of output. Now, naturally, if there's a condition attached that you must produce this amount, the objective function of the firm will be to minimize cost, right? So you're given the condition to produce this quantity, right? Where will the firm produce it? Here. So it becomes a cost minimization problem. Now, for the unconditional demand, it means when there's no condition attached, then you can produce whatever you want, right? So the objective is not to minimize the cost, but to maximize profit, right? Now, as to what you should maximize profit depends. If you are trying to find how much K to maximize profit, you need pi, you need K. How much L to higher to maximize profit, then you need pi, you need L. So, the question here is question number 6. It's about finding the conditional demand for labor. Okay, so we are given the production function. Is this the conditional demand for labor? That means we have to set up cost minimization. So it means set the slope of the iso cost equal to the slope of the iso part. So this one is very simple. After you find your K and L, given K and L, you can find your cost. I think only some of you asked me to do this. I think it's only because of this part, right? If this person wants to maximize profit for total, find the optimal output level. Okay, so this part is same thing. That means you sell the profit per labor, then you maximize with respect to what? Q, that's all right. Okay, so now you don't need me to do part A, no? If you don't need me to do part A, then I will just proceed to do part C. Because part A is very simple. Part A, you're given the production function. And I'm sure all of you know what to do, right? Part A, you're given the production function as it is. Here you go to K times L. Given the production function, then how much labor and capital should they hire? To find the conditional demand. Okay, so there's a condition attached, right? So that means you try to minimize cost. If you can recall, conditional demand means to minimize cost. So cost is minimized, and the slope of the isocost is equal to the slope of the isopart. The isopart is the total product curve. What's the slope of the total product curve equal to? Marginal product. Okay. Because the marginal product comes from two input, right? Labor and capital. So marginal product from labor. So this is the slope of the isopart equal to the slope of the isocost. Now, if this is labor, this should be the price of labor. Right. So the price of labor is called what? Wages. Capital here should be the price of capital for interest rate, right? So this one here you can solve this problem here. This is a cost minimization problem, right? Cost is minimized here. So from here, in order to solve the cost minimization problem, we will need solve for MPL and EK. what's MPL equal to? DQ over DL. What's MPK equal to?
Bây giờ cái này
So DQ over DK.
cái giữa lần đó
Finish, that's it. So you put that into equation 1.
cũng là bây
Okay,
giờ
put all this inside here. So therefore you will get, which means you can now solve for either K or L, right? So very quickly you can solve for K. The optimal demand for capital therefore is equal to finish. So that's the demand for capital, and so you see usually it's solved. It's solved. See, that's not what I have to solve for you is the cost minimization problem. I found this K right. How to find out? Go into the ISO cost or go into the ISO fund. When you use this amount of capital, given that we have to produce conditional demand this quantity, right? Now, if you are given the condition to produce this quantity, how much L is required? So you put this inside where? The ISO fund. Understand? You have to find your L. So substitute your K inside your ISO fund. Here. Production cost. Okay. Let's call this equation 1. So we put this into equation 1. Therefore we have so there's a K times L times square. Right. Which means you can now solve for L. What's the L equal to?
cái thứ nó đỏ nó thấy
L is how much?
gì em để của ba tàu không dính đâu lại tàu nó còn dính chứ ba tàu nó dính nữa.
Okay, no problem. Okay, is this all? This is that all? This K, this L, right all.
Để cái
This
gì đầu
correct. What's wrong here? The demand for labor is this, the demand for capital is this, right all. Wrong, right? Because here, up down. The demand for capital depends on the value of this L here, right? Have you found L here?
đúng ở đâu
No, now have you found? Yes, so the demand for capital depends on how many labor the firm hire. Now that we find that the firm hire this amount of labor, put this inside.
cũng có được mấy người đâu ra hay ghê.
Yeah. So that's great. then, okay, whatever, now we do the cost. What's the possibility? No. No, it's this right.
Học đứa nào vậy? Chị đó thôi. Biết tại sao không? Đầu ra thì mấy con không. Chị nghĩ phải
What's K equal to?
đi về một cái chuyện kia nó. Gồm có thì mình chưa có mặt cái như vậy nữa phải xin mà cái sao phải xài cho ta cái một đó còn riêng đặt cho mình luôn cái tin mặt gì có mấy không cái học bút mà trắng cái này xịn cái thay cho là chị luôn cái bút mình có tự động nhiều thời tất tiền nữa.
Of course, in the exam, you don't follow it. You also do step by step. Understand? At no time, finish through zone A and zone B. You understand? You understand? You do slowly. Don't go and do just by using your brain, carry here, bring left, bring right, bring left, bring right. Very taxing on you because you have a lot of time. You need to do 6 questions in the exam. Right? So don't go and use shortcut. Slowly bring left, bring right, bring left, bring right, left, right, left, right. You should get the correct answer. Okay, anyway, your problem is not this one, I think. Some of you told me is one. It's about to maximize output per one. Per day work, is it? Maximize output per day work. Let's see. The demand function is this. Okay, not output, not okay, profit per labor. Find the optimal output level. Right, so this one I think problem is here. Okay, so the means you have to find first thing profit per worker, how you find it. You find the profit first, then divide by 1. L. Right. Then you get profit per worker. Then once you get the profit per worker, then you differentiate this function respect to what? It's asking to find the optimal one. Output right, respect to Q. So that's how you get the answer. Okay, so you cannot get the answer here, I think, because there's a bit of calculation here. Alright. So you go back and calculate left, right, you should get Q as equal to 0.3. Okay, so if you cannot follow that, because can you write down for me the profit? Forget about labor, profit is how much? Total revenue minus total cost, right? Now first thing, what's P equal to? Anyone? P is how much? The demand function was given as this. Q equal 100 minus P, right? So what's P equal to? 100 minus Q. Understand? So P equal to 100 minus Q. Is it big Q or big Q? Yes. So this is of P. So this is of price. Then how to find total revenue? Price times what? Times quantity. Okay, so that's the total revenue, right? What's the total cost? You get the total cost? Yeah, I just found for you here, right? Okay, so this is the total cost, which is 2 times. Okay, so essentially this is small one, profit. Okay? But in the question asks you to solve for profit, find the profit per what? Per labor, right? And what should you do here? You have to divide by what? You get the profit per labor, you have to divide by L. Okay? Which means this whole function here, you divide by L. Okay, so instead of writing L, can I take a shortcut here? What's L equal to? C here for what? Divide by L, right? Okay, I have to write it down. This L is how much? We really find that the firm hire how many workers? This amount, right? Okay, so can I just write this as L? Okay? Okay. Finish. That's it. So what did the problem ask you to find? What's the decision variable? To find the optimal one. Output. So that means you just define this with respect to what? They want you to find the optimal output that will maximize profit per labor, right? So you define this. I mean, you differentiate this whole thing with respect to what? Q. Clear? That's all. Okay, I think. Simplify this one. You have to use function to here. Essentially, otherwise, right, you can simplify this a bit. So I think that's enough. That means we have to just differentiate this in respect to Q. Understand? If that's the case, I don't think we need motion to it. Isn't it? Because you only have to differentiate the Q on top.
Của người ta già nữa, ít ra người ta phải xây dựng hai ba chơi chứ cái gì anh em dùng có vẫn tu lộn xây dựng
So differentiate this whole expression with respect to Q because it asks to find out Q. They ask you to find optimal L, optimal K, then you differentiate this with respect to K. Okay? So the decision variable is to find the optimal Q, so which is that.
xin chia bài.
Question number 7 is about what? You know that this very large hotel, of course they're selling rooms. Right. Now, so the rooms that they are selling, the problem you are told that there are two different demand. One type of demand is business traveler, and the other demand is student. The marginal cost of providing the room is 10, which means we can treat this as an average cost. Because the fixed cost not given. So normally if the fixed cost not given, you take it as 0. Right, so constant marginal cost 10, that means average cost 10. Demand from traveler, business traveler, QB is this. From student, QS is this. Now, if this person can charge different prices to travelers and students, what are the profit maximizing price? Okay, this question is a third degree price discrimination. You can charge different people different price. Whereas in part B, suppose the hotel has to charge the same price to all. What's the profit maximizing price? Which means in part B is a question of what? They cannot discriminate. Right, they have to sell it to everyone at the same price. Okay, so I think this A and B, you only need to do. Third degree price discrimination. Very simple. So if you don't need me to do that, you see. I think your problem is here, right? Suppose you want to offer this guest breakfast. So the price of the room is PR, the price for the breakfast is PM, the cost of breakfast is 0. The proportion S of guests who buy breakfast is given by this. Guests do not take into account the price of breakfast when they book a room. So if this person, the hotel has to charge the same price to all customers, find the profit maximizing PM. PM is the price for what? Breakfast, and the PR the price for room. Okay, so can I just start with slide C? Because the B cannot solve this. Even if I don't do A, I still have to do B. If I don't do B, I cannot solve this. Okay, now then I think my answer just very quickly. Now, if you can charge different price to different people, if you can recall third degree price discrimination, what would they do? You set MR1 to MC, MR2 to what? MC, right? So if you read the question on third degree price discrimination, so if you can charge different people different prices, I really show you before. You can either do from first principle or you can solve directly from the formula, right? Different price to different group of people, or different market, or different country. Set this. You notice the marginal costs are the same because it's the same firm, monopolies, right? One firm, one cost, one MC. Why two different MR? Because different groups have different MR, different country, and different MR, different demand. Understand? So So you can charge different people different price. Then in this case, how much will they charge? Okay, first thing, if you look at the market demand function, how to find MR? So there are two different MR. One MC. Okay, so the MC is there. So the given the marginal cost is there. And so our only problem now is to find all the MR. Now we are told that there are two different group of people, right? So QB is how much? So given the problem, QB is business traveler. QS is how much? Okay, so these are the demand function for students. Okay, so we have to set the MR to MC. Right, so what's the MR for this? What's the marginal revenue for business student? I mean for business? That's what's P equal to. And so therefore MR is okay, so the rest is straightforward, you just set them equal. Right? Set MR for this to MC1, MR for this to MC. Okay, so it will be set.
Ủa MC ở đâu ra vậy em? Đâu chỗ nào? Thả đây rồi. QS được bê MC chính đôi
Okay, what else are we classifying? Define cannot discriminate. So this will be a question. After you find all your Q, is it possible to find what price you sell to businesses? You put your QB into where? Into here, you get a price. You put your US into here, you get a price. Okay, so your okay, so that's all. So what we do is part B in order to do part C. And part B of the question we are told if they cannot discriminate, we said to sell everyone the same price, right? So you can recall from your lectures to find to sell everyone the same price is very convenient to go where?
Và nhân công ty
Here. To find the market demand here.
revenue
And then from here,
trừ cost nữa.
the demand market demand you construct the market demand, right? The total market demand is simply the sum of these two individual demands. Sum them up, you get the market demand. Once you get this, then you get the MR, set to MC. Then this optimal output. Go to the demand curve, this is the price. So which means the first thing you have to do is to find the entire market demand. First speed Q equal to QB plus QS. So the 3Q will be equal to QB, which is this, plus QS, which is this. Okay? So therefore, see this is a straight line, you know, see. Okay, right. This is a straight line, the marginal revenue will be what? The gradient is still minus 1.5. Minus 1/5 is equal to 516, right? So 2/5. Okay. Okay, so we have the market demand and the marginal revenue, so we set the market MR to MC. Now the monopolist MC is 10, right? So which means so what's P equal to? So we just see his answer. Okay, so if you cannot discriminate, so the market output they produce will be 260, the price is. Okay, so I need part B to do part C. The reason why is because part C, if you read the problem, it says that the monopolists cannot discriminate. Right. If they cannot discriminate, then we know that the quantity sold will be how much? 260. Right. If you cannot discriminate. That means this Q this is the demand function, and we cannot discriminate. Remember that is the one, right? Okay, so this is the demand function. Now we are told that what's the price of the book? PR is how much? Here was given what's the cost of the breakfast? 0. So we know that S is what? We are going to do for the past. S is the proportion of gas. Proportion of gas to buy breakfast. So this was define what is the optimal PR and the price of the room PR and the price of the breakfast PM. Now, when we are told that when the guests book a room, do they care about the price of the breakfast? When the guests book a room, we are told that the guests don't bother with the price of the breakfast. It means when you book a room in Thailand or Hong Kong, I don't think you even care about the breakfast there, or price. Rather, you care about the room price. Because you got to eat at the restaurant, the hotel anyway, right? So the proportion of people who buy breakfast anyway has given by this. Okay, if that's the case, because can you sum for me the profit function? What's pi equal to? How much is pi equal to? Well, the profit comes from where? The price of the room minus what? The average cost. What's the average cost of the room? See here. Custom minus the cost. What's the average cost of the room? 10, right? Okay, so this price minus average cost. And so the profit comes from here. Price minus average cost. So this profit per unit times quantity. Right? The number of people who stay in the hotel. So that would be a total profit. Any more profit? Other than profit from rent, from hotel room, what else? Breakfast, right? So plus breakfast. Profit from the breakfast is how much? PM minus what? Average cost. What's the average cost of breakfast given as what? 0. Understand the average cost of breakfast is given as 0. Then do we have to minus anything? No. Okay, what's missing here? What's missing here? Times Q? Times Q? No. No. Is it true that everyone buys breakfast? Only this proportion S 1 minus 0.1 PM. Correct? So times P times S. So only this amount of people who bought breakfast. So therefore the profit from the breakfast is this. Okay, any other question? Good? So I think we can come back around here. So from here, I think we can find the optimal PR and PQ. So if you wish to find the optimal PR and PQ, you will d pi over 1, dPR, and d pi over d PM, the breakfast, right? We are asked to find the optimal PR and PM. Okay? Because to differentiate with respect to PR, do I need to differentiate this? Do I need to differentiate this? Yes, right. Yes. No, why? Because Q, is it a function of PR? Sure. See here. Right? Okay, so I think we have to solve this in theory. 1 minus 1 PM. Which means S also going to differentiate. You understand? Because when I differentiate with respect to PM, notice that S is a function of what? Function of PM, so don't forget. S is a function of PM, right? So therefore it should be can I do a shortcut here? Let's see here for 1. This is S, right? S is 1 minus 0.1 PM times PM. Agree or not? We just straight away multiply them up. Instead of writing down.
Ủa mấy rồi?
Okay, right. Okay, so I think this S times PM, what do I get? What do I get? I think this times PM, what do I get?
Tiền B,
PM
tiền kìa.
minus, what else? 0.1 PM what? Square. Okay, you understand how I call this one? Okay, so I think we have all the function for you to do a differentiation. Okay, so we don't need to do anymore. Okay, so let's apply the differentiation.
Đừng nói, chứ không muốn gỡ nó vậy nữa đâu. Hả? Chị luôn cắt đầu chị đâu có cắt đầu hồi về con cái bà là cắt hồi xưa chị quay không chỉnh được rồi chị bắt đền luôn. Hết rồi cái em có ký nào chị có 2 ký nha. Có ký là về chị bớt á, ông nổi lại sai á. Mình có cái gì không có bị dễ hơn.
Spice like these. Here comes. Here comes. Spice 70 is it roughly how much was it? 114. Okay, so that one is here. So this 114. 114. Also 114, right? Okay, so 113 here. Solve here because you have two unknown here. I think you have to solve for T as well. Because there are two unknown. So in order to solve the popular here, so we need to solve for this one.
Y đúng là khác đó. Hỏi sao dân chúng người ta không học MI cũng ổn. Người dài đúng không? Chị nói thầy có anh nhìn đời vừa là mắc rô đó. Bộ lòng của chị cứ lần song sắt nó là dày, có khi nó là dày hơn người cui về.
Bố số của mặt em đi vô lời giải từ thế đủ rồi
hả? Đủ nhưng mà mắc rô với chị mà xài đó đấy. Em xài rồi
Solve the mobility. See, you have one equation, you have two equations, two unknown. Because if I do a direct substitution, here is not here.
mình nhớ mình đang đọc xong lời
nó ra nó đóng cái sổ lên rồi.
nó đóng kết quả nên là
Thế là mình sau khi mình
Y17 plus 50 is 650.
em đi á, chị học bắt luôn không chịu biết giải rồi qua em là kiểu không em lại là cái hỏi cái em thấy em những chuyện trong đây có lý hơn rồi tính cái này tự nhiên cái mặt đen tức bố quá
phải học cái này.
biết chị học rồi không rồi biết học rồi mấy sao hồi đó chị học hồi đó chị có hiểu chị này đi học xong rồi chị buộc sợ nó chị đọc nó chị nhớ luôn tại vì em chỉ lúc mà Google á em bị đánh em phải tắt nhiều lần rồi em phải
Có đúng không? Suy nghĩ là nó có đúng không?
đúng không phải là sai biết là tại vì mình vô lên hỏi một cô rồi thầy đó giải ông thấy sao ông thấy này
Thầy ra là cũng khỏe.
ông cũng khỏe luôn sao lại nghĩ tiếp nữa vô rồi hả chuyện đuổi nước dài lắm á em nước dài lắm á
First time, would you like by 521.4? Okay, problem solved.
có đây
Okay, problem solved. Okay, we have to go together. No, you sure this is 570, right? Because 5 times is 570. Okay, so these two cancel. Okay, once you get here, you go 5 raising to it. From here, you go 5 here, you go 5 here, so on. Okay? So,
viết ra đây
you do this one in this situation.
Không có nhưng mà bây giờ
You do the one in this situation is
chỉ
not
vậy thôi
possible.
để tính cái toán cho ông lấy ra được thì lấy 570 chia 5
Solve from here.
đúng kiếp diễn cái hình tính mở phá thôi
chợ hai cái giống nhau thì cái số
thì ông lấy cái 5 ra thì đương nhiên hai cái nó giống nhau rồi lấy 570 chia cho 5 đúng rồi 514 mẹ ơi học tình gì đi học thích
nó đặt
lấy số vô ra 5 BM ra 5 rồi ra rồi đó
em biết học giáo bây giờ cái giáo